What's good, guys? Gerline is back for another trick. I'm really glad I get to perform this before I teach it. I think performances are very valuable. All right, so we're gonna try something pretty cool. I'm gonna try to show you a bit of a miracle mixed with a little bit of a time travel demonstration. Now, it's up for you to decide if it's actually time travel, but I think this is what time travel might look like. So to start, I just need you to touch any 4 cards you want, okay?
This one?
This one right here, okay,
Yeah.
Next.
This one.
This one right there.
This, oh, no,
Oh,
no,
the next
no,
one,
no,
okay.
no,
Oh,
no.
no, even this one
Yeah.
here. Perfect, and one more.
This one.
This one right here. So you got 4 cards, right? What I will do is I'll grab those like this. Perfect. So I'll leave those 4 cards, 3, 4, right there. Here's what we'll try. Just want you to call stop wherever you'd like, all right?
Stop.
Right there. All right, go ahead and grab just the top card. All right, and show the camera what we get.
An ace of diamonds.
All right, can you actually give that a little signature as well?
As well.
Very nice. We're getting QG with a crown, as usual. Love it. And a smiley face. Show the camera. Perfect. All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll take that ace. All right, we'll put it right here, and we will lose it right into the middle of the deck like that. Now, actually, let's try something. I was thinking of doing this one way, but we'll try something a little different. I'll grab these, and you hold on to the deck for me, okay? So again, we got these 4 here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. All I want you to do is just think really carefully and just take one of these. Don't look at it though, just take any one you want. All right, and just leave that on the table. Perfect. I just want you to now point at 2 of the ones that are left. Those 2 right here, all right? All right, we got 2 left. I'm just gonna mix them up, all right? Now again, take one, don't look at it. Take it, all right, put it in your pile. Now we're left with 1 card here. Do you remember the card that you chose in the beginning?
An ace of diamonds.
The ace of diamonds. And the 1 card that you eliminated 2 is actually your signed ace of diamonds. Now what's crazy is, you might think I have 2 ace of diamonds, one you saw there and one that was in the 4 cards that were here. But that's impossible because your signature's on it. And you also might believe, maybe you didn't see right, you didn't see the ace of diamonds, but again, you signed it. So that's really time travel, and that's why I say this is sort of a time travel demonstration. But I did promise you this would also be a bit of a miracle. And no matter which one of these 4 cards you end up choosing,
Can I look at these?
we wouldn't have been too far off from your ace of diamonds. Take a look. The other 3 cards, show the camera, are the other 3 aces. What's good, everybody? It's Reed, and welcome back to another tutorial. Today we have a great video. We're going to do another trick tutorial. I'm really excited for this one. This is one of the best tricks that I will have taught on this channel so far. It's not one of the hardest tricks, and it's not one that I perform a ton, but it's really good. More intermediate sleight of hand, but all things I've taught so far on the channel. So if you need to learn any of the moves, go check it out. But I'm really excited to get into it. Thanks again, Gerline, for the performance. It was just good for you guys to see what a performance would look like and some of the pattern that I used in that trick. I've developed that pattern, and I think it's pretty good for that trick, and it kind of engages the audience in a unique way. So we'll be going over the breakdown of the trick, how to do it, the moves you need, all the subtleties, and then I'll give you some tips on some of that pattern, different ways you can go with it. But again, this is a really awesome trick. It utilizes Di Vernon's strip out edition that we learned in one of the past videos, and I'm really excited to get into it, so let's jump right in. All right, so there is a little bit of setup with this trick, but it's something that you can do really quickly, especially if you know how to cull cards. You can just be showing the audience that all the cards are different, and you can cull the cards that you need. All we need are the 4 aces. You can use a different 4 of a kind, but I think it works best with the aces for this trick. And you need those aces at the bottom. I think it's really important for this trick that you let the audience shuffle. There's a couple ways you can do this. If you know how to cull, you just hand out the deck, they shuffle it, and then you go through and you cull the 4 aces to the top, and then quickly you just peel off 4 and move them to the bottom. The way that I do it is I start with the setup and get them there in any way necessary, and I will have a break above them. I will get them into a gambler's cop. I will hand out the deck, let my spectator shuffle while I palm off those cards, and then replace them on the bottom. Now, once we have the 4 aces at the bottom, again, you don't need to do the cop off and the shuffle, but I always think it's nice. Always love to let my spectators shuffle, and so I think that's a really beneficial element because it'll make this next part feel a little bit more impossible, right? And feel like I had no control over the cards, and it'll make this switch seem more impossible. Now we need to control one of these aces to the top. So really simple, the way I do it is I just turn a little bit to the left because I'm gonna do a face-up shuffle. I'm just gonna peel off that ace and throw it on top. So you obviously don't wanna flash, so you can do a face-up shuffle like this, no big deal. Non-moment, you're just turning, going like this, and you're good to go. You could also side steal the ace from the bottom like that and get it on top, but whatever method's necessary, I just choose the easy way in this one, and I think it's totally fine. So we have one ace on top, doesn't matter which one, and then 3 on the bottom. Now we're gonna tell the spectator that we need them to select 4 random cards, okay? At this point, we're gonna riffle off the 3 aces that are underneath and get a break above the 3 of them. Remember, it's only 3, the 4th one's on the top. So we're gonna tell them, we just need them to select any 4 cards, okay? We're gonna start spreading, and they're gonna select any 4 that they'd like. All right. Now we're gonna do Vernon's strip out addition. So I taught that in the last video or the video before. All we're doing is we're gripping the cards like this. We have the 4 aces underneath, and we're sliding them forward, pulling the cards out so that the aces are underneath, squaring the pack while replacing the random 4 cards they chose to the bottom, and we've switched out for the 3 aces. So go check out that video for an in-depth tutorial on that move. After you've done the switch, you put the deck down, and you have the 3 aces and their 4 cards on the bottom. So just a quick note, I saw this trick originally on A Million Card Tricks channel, and I've added quite a bit to it, including that shuffle at the beginning, letting the spectator shuffle. I think it's a great moment because it makes this feel really impossible. And I've also added several other things that I'll get into. So one of those things is an Elmsley count, right? We have 3 cards now, but they believe we have 4. So I like to do a really quick Elmsley count to show 4 cards, okay? I'll really quickly go over that. This isn't the video I'll be teaching the Elmsley count, but what I do, in a really nothing moment, I'll pull the top card over a little bit and transfer them into this grip. So middle finger and index on the bottom of the right hand and thumb on top. And then you'll just peel off one card, okay? As you come in to peel off the next card, you're just replacing this card back into the right hand as you peel off this card. So now I only have 1 here still because I replaced the ace on the bottom. Then you peel off 3 and 4. So again, I'll just pull that card over so I have a little bit of a step, and you go 1, ace of diamonds, replace the ace of diamonds as you peel off this 1 card here. So now I only have the ace of spades, ace of diamonds is back here. That's 2, 3, and 4. So I take the deck, drop it, and I really quickly 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we just drop those cards. Drop them really nonchalant. That's a really good moment. You just drop them. You don't want them to land like this, obviously, so just drop them nice and level. It's okay if they split a bit, that adds to the illusion, but there shouldn't be any real heat on this at this moment. The switch you did shouldn't seem like a switch, and then the Elmsley count confirms that there are 4 cards there, and you drop them on the table. You want to drop them in a spot where it'll be easy for you to reach for them with your right hand. So make sure there's nothing blocking them. Make sure that they're not too far away, or that you'd have to reach across the spectator. Put them in somewhere where if you're performing here that you can easily turn and grip them with the right hand. That's going to be important in a minute. Next, we need to force the last ace on the spectator. So I usually like to use the spread force. The riffle force is also great in this situation. So you'd swing cut that card into the middle for the riffle force, right? And then we'd execute the riffle force. Check out my video on the riffle force if you need help doing that. But again, I said I like to use the spread force, so I will take the card, I'll do a shuffle, one of the retention shuffles to move that card to the bottom. I have also taught this shuffle in my beginner retention shuffle videos, so you just peel it off and you throw the rest of the cards on top, shifting it to the bottom. Now I come in and execute a spread force. Again, I've taught my handling on the spread force. One of the best handlings on the spread force, I think. You ask them this card here, they say yes, and you show them the ace of clubs. So then I'd ask them, okay, what card you get? They say ace of clubs, flip it face up, peel it off to the top, and here we go. So at this moment, you can have them sign it. There's a really nice moment if you have them sign it in this trick because of the patter and the presentation, but it's also really nice if you don't for another reason. I'll go over both of those in the uses and other ideas when I talk about the patter that I use with this trick. So you take that ace, let's say they sign it, and now you need to lose it into the middle of the deck, but really we're controlling it to the top. So whatever control you want. I won't teach much of a control in this video. So in terms of something I've taught, you could just say, all right, let's try something really quick with these cards. First we'll lose yours into the middle. All you did there was a top change, and then you put the card into the middle. Remember, if you do a top change, you can drop the card on top, do a double to show their card one last time before you lose it. You could take a card, put it in the middle, and do a pass if you know how to do a pass. You can lose it, catch a break, and do a little bit of a cutting sequence. Whatever the case is, just get that card back to the top. So they believe their card's lost in the middle. Whatever method you choose, use your best control. Ideally one without too much shuffling or cuts, because like I always say, that is when the audience might believe that you controlled their card. Whereas if you take their card and you can cleanly show it going into the middle like that, and it's on the top, then there's absolutely no reason for them to believe it's on top because it was such a clean control. So now that their card's on top, we need to execute the Joe Berg top palm that I taught in one of the last couple of videos, or any sort of top palm. We're basically palming off just that top card, okay? And yes, you need to use the classic palm in this. The classic palm is really great for this. I talked about that in the video. The only time I ever use it is if I'm reaching to grab cards and I want to add another card, because that is the most natural way to do it, and it's so quick that there's none of this moment where you're holding your hand weird and anyone gets suspicious. So I just push off the card, get a bit of a break, and then I come in, press down with the pinky to pivot the card here, and I get it into palm. So how it all looks at speed is I come here, take the card, and I grab these. So what you want to do to cover this, also, it's really quick, it doesn't need a lot of cover, but you get the palm and you hand out the deck and you say, all right, you hold on to this, I'll hold on to these. And now it's really justified, right? It's very justified. So you palm it and you say, all right, you hold on to these, I'll grab these ones. All right, you give them the deck, they hold on to the deck, and now you have these 4 cards, and now there's nothing suspicious, you still have 4 cards. Obviously, we have the 4 aces. The next addition of mine is this plot. In the original way I saw it, it was a simple magician's choice, equivoke sort of situation, and it's still gonna be that, but it's a lot more fair the way I do it. You really want to use this phrasing in this way because it won't make this seem like magician's choice. Equivoke is something that's really powerful. If you guys don't know what that is, magician's choice or equivoke, it's basically when you ask the spectator to make decisions that have open endings. So whatever they say, you can control the narrative to match what you want. Right? So if they pick this one and you want them to take it, you eliminate these, but if they pick this one you don't want them to take it, then you eliminate that one, right? So it's open-ended questions that you can steer the narrative the way you want. So I have a lot of work on different equivoke techniques, and I'll show you guys a little glimpse with this trick on some of the work that I have on this. And it's important your phrasing, and we're gonna have several different questions, and we don't want the questions to be the same every time because then it gives away the method. So just make sure you guys follow this scripting very similarly to make this effect feel as fair as possible, and you'll really get some miracles with this. I will have a video probably pretty soon on equivoke because I really love it, and there's a lot of great things you can do with it. So remember, their card's now on top because we palmed it off and we grabbed the cards and we just slid them towards us in the action of picking it up, right? So now you can go straight into the equivoke from here, but I like to do this. Just in my mind, if I were to ask people to choose any one of these 4 cards, I personally, and from experience, would say that people are gonna choose one of the middle 2. So to increase my chances of a perfect hit for this trick, I just shift their card to one of the middle ones. And how I do that is simply when I'm counting. So I'm like, all right, we got 1, and it's a little weird, but I just take the second card. It's really not important. You just make it seem casual. So you just say we got 1, 2, 3, and 4 cards, right? Now you spread them, and this is where we get into the equivoke, okay? Essentially, we're trying to force them their cards. So here's what we say. Take any one of these cards and don't look at it. Now, obviously, if they take their card, this is the best outcome. We just throw these other cards away and we really hype up the fact that they could have chosen any card they want. This is a completely free choice, but they happen to choose their card. And this actually happens a fair amount, you'll be surprised. So what happens if they don't choose their card, which is the most likely option? Let's say they take this one. Because we told them not to look, they won't look. So all we say is, okay, drop it to the table. Okay, so we say choose any card, don't look at it. They take this one, we say, all right, drop it to the table. Now you say, all right, we have 3 cards left. Point at 2. Okay, so if they point at the 2 that aren't their card, it's a great moment, okay? Because we take those 2 and we drop them to the table. So what we've done here is we haven't done anything weird, right? They chose a card, dropped it to the table, and now they've chosen another card, or another 2, and we've dropped it to the table. And we're left with their card. So it feels totally normal, feels like they've been eliminating cards, and that's exactly how this should feel. The reason we say point and not take is for this reason. If the 2 cards they point at include their card, we simply discard the other card and it's totally clean. It matches with what we've been doing so far as well. Okay, we're eliminating cards. So either way, it feels like an elimination of cards, which is great because if they didn't pick their card off the bat, we want this to feel like we're eliminating cards rather than selecting, okay? And that the reason we don't have them take the 2, the reason they only point is because if they take it, their instinct will be to drop it. If they point, it feels different than the last time, right? If they take it and then we say, okay, let me discard this one, it doesn't make any sense because last time they took a card, they put it down. So the second time we say point at 2, and there we go. We have 2 cards left. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna just keep our eye on their card and we're just gonna give them a bit of a mix. Makes it feel like we don't know where their card is, okay? So we give them a mix, we just know where their card is, and then we say, all right, so now I want you to take 1 card. Now they're gonna take one. If they don't take their card, again, the plot is perfect because we've been eliminating these cards the whole time. So they take it and you say, all right, drop it on the table. Now you say, we're left with 1 card, you could have chosen anyone's, and it's their card. The tricky part with this is if they do pick their card at this point, because we've been eliminating the whole time. But the reason we can get away with this is because it's the last 2. So it makes sense that in the last 2, the one that they take will be the one they want or the one they keep. So we can kind of get away with that here. If they take their card, you say, all right, that's the one you want, are you sure? All right, so we kind of switch the narrative. We don't say eliminate it, we say that's the one you want, are you sure? And regardless of the situation, they'll be eliminated down to their last card. At this point, we want to really hype up the fact that they could have chosen anything they want, really tell them that they had a free choice and they stopped on their card. And that's a really good moment. But now we have the final kicker. Say something along the lines of, you had a totally free choice, you could have chosen any card you wanted and you settled on your card. But no matter which card you would have chosen, you wouldn't have been too far off. And then you invite them to flip over those 3 cards and they find that they are the other 3 aces. All right, so that is the basic performance of this trick. So I didn't go into too much patter here besides the stuff that has to do with the method, but now in the uses and other ideas, I really want to get into how to hype up this effect because this effect can be so strong with the right patter. So I want to tell you guys the pattern that I use, that I came up with. I think it's really strong and I would advocate that you guys use it, and it really fits the plot of this trick. All right, so in terms of the uses and other ideas, so just before I jump into some of the patter points that I'd like to get into, the last thing I'll mention is it's nice to be able to show that all the cards are different at the beginning. So if you're doing the palming technique, you're just gonna quickly spread past the bunch of aces and you can just show, you know, all these cards are different, they're in no order, whatever. And you can also give the deck a false shuffle yourself beforehand, which is always really nice to do. If you want to do that. So time for the patter. I think this trick works really well as a time travel plot because if you think about it, you know, they really fairly put their card into the middle of the deck and then you hand them the deck basically instantly and all of a sudden their card ends up being in these 4 cards that they've chosen from the very start. It makes it feel like we kind of go back in time. And you've seen it in the performance. But I say, you know, I'm going to try to mix a bit of a miracle with a bit of a time traveling demonstration. You know, I don't know if you believe in time travel, but this is what I think it might look like, right? So then you go, you do the move, and you get to, you know, the moment where you have them make their selection, and they get the ace. Here's what's nice, right? They see the ace, and they see it go into the middle of the deck, just like that. And they believe it's in the middle of the deck. There's no question in their mind, and instantly you're handing out the deck to them. Well, you've obviously transferred that card over here, but you hand it out to them and they think that their card's buried in the middle. So now when you get to the end and they selected their card, it feels like a time travel sort of demonstration. So what I like to do is once they, you know, they've narrowed down and this is their selection, just before the reveal, I'll say, remember, we just put your card into the middle of the deck and you selected these 4 cards before we even had you select your ace of spades. And then you have them flip it and it's the ace of spades and then, you know, like what the hell. So what I was talking about with a signature earlier, if it's signed, you can say this sort of line where, you know, you might think I had a second ace of spades and you saw one there and there was one in here, but obviously that's not possible because you signed it. Or maybe you think your eyes are playing tricks on you and you didn't really see the ace of spades in the deck. But obviously that's not true because you've signed it as well, so it really is time travel. If you don't want to have them sign it, it's also nice to say that, but spin it a little differently. You say, now maybe you think I had another ace of spades in the deck, but you can look and see that there's really no other ace of spades, and you spread the deck and let them see. Or maybe you think your eyes were playing tricks on you. And that's up for you to decide. I don't know the answer to that. Or this could have been time travel, but that's for you to make your decision. And after you've done that, then you say, and I did promise you a bit of a miracle as well with this trick. Keep in mind, you selected these 4 cards at random before we even started. But no matter what card of these 4 you selected, we wouldn't have been too far, as all of them were the aces. And you get your little miracle at the end. So that's kind of the way I like to perform this trick. Go watch the performance. That's kind of the way I like to do it. And I think it works really well for this kind of presentation, this trick, and it really sort of fries people in that way. So this is quite a good trick. Practice it. And yeah, I hope you guys like it. All right, guys, that is it for this trick. This is such a great trick. I put a lot into this, a lot of ideas, a lot of different convincers, and a lot of ways to make it better, make it a stronger trick from when I originally saw it. So I hope you guys love all my touches to this. Go practice it. There are some more knacky moves in it, but they're not too bad. And when you can do this trick really nicely, it's super strong, really fooling, and there's so many ways you can take the presentation. So maybe use the one I suggested, but feel free, make it your own, come up with a cool presentation. I just thought that one fit really well. Practice the strip out move. You really want to nail that. You want to nail the palm, and then really work on memorizing and using that equivoke script properly so that it feels really fluid and it feels like all the decisions they made were truly theirs. But I hope you guys like this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.